Okay, so we finished part of the thing, but we have some issues that we have to fix. One of the things is if they say yes to disabled, I do not need to ask about military and age. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. I'm going to move age to here because that just makes sense. I'll ask that only if they say no to disabled. And the same goes for the military. Right? If they are over 75, then I'm not going to ask them if they're in the military because that's a silly question. So let's go ahead and move this down here. So only if they're under 70 will they get asked about military. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, then we have our other issue too, and that is this decision here, if home value is less than the exemptions. We saw that we had a problem with that already. And that decision has to go right here. So let's go ahead and add that. And that is home less than the exemption. Control C. Control V. Okay, so what happens if it's true is we want to go ahead and set the tax rate and the tax valued for 0. So let's go ahead and do that. So if it's true, the tax rate is 0. Control C. Also the tax value. So let's copy that. Paste that here. Is 0. And taxes owed. Oops. So I did that and copy that. Paste that here. And make that 0. Then I'm going to take this resident decision. I'm not going to make that decision unless the home value is greater than the exemption. So I just move this over here. There we go. Now the thing is, let's see. Let's see, this tax value. I'm going to put that there and put that there because I'm not going to calculate those unless the exemption. Then I'm just going to zero them all out. Let's see if this works now. Make sure I haven't broken everything. Let's go ahead and we'll start with test number 1. Home value is 300,000. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Are they disabled? I'll say yes. And what's the primary house? Now you can see that this one I didn't have an answer for, and that's because we don't ask that question in that case. So here we're going to put in yes. And we see home value, 75, 22.5, 4%, and 9,000. Great. So that is fixed. Let's move on to the next test. And what is the home value? It is 30, 1, 2, 3. And am I disabled? And the answer was no. Is this, why should it, shouldn't ask me that, should it have? I haven't moved that. Okay. Let's just say yes for grins. And what is your age? 75. Well, yeah, 75. So the home value is 30. The exemption is 50, so it would be a negative number, but not anymore. Now we just have zeros all the way through. So we saw one problem though. Why did it ask me about that residence? It shouldn't have. So this question for residence needs to come here so we don't ask the question. Now you see me moving all these inputs in. Do not do that unless we have that issue. all input should be placed at the very top of your code, except when it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense for me to ask that question if their exemptions are more than their house the value is. So let's go ahead and run that one again, make sure we haven't broken anything. This one should work better. So 30, 1, 2, 3. Disabled. No. What is your age? 75. Now it's not going to ask me that silly question before. Just going to go right to say, well, nothing, 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 nothing. So that works perfectly. Now let's go ahead and go to our last test. And that is going to be 200,000. Are you disabled? So we always have to ask that question. No. And the answer to this one is no. Almost answered it wrong. Am I in the military? Yes, I am. Is my primary residence? No. I'm renting it out. So 200,000. 50,000 is that right? 150,000. No, it's not right. What did I do wrong? Let's try that again. What is your home value? I think I see what the problem is. So the home value is 1, 2, 3. Let's try this again. Disabled? No. Your age, I think that's where I went wrong. I don't remember putting in 35. And then I think I put yes for that. And is this your primary home? No. Now, 200,000, now 20,000, 180, 6%, 1080. Excellent. So we've tried now all the paths, and this is our best way of doing it. One thing is, if suppose, let's just do this. If I take these and I put them down, well, I'm not even going to do it. I don't need to show you that. We really don't have to put zeros in here. It would work anyway. And that's because visual logic automatically puts 0 in places in memory when it first sees it. So it never not has 0. JavaScript does not. So it's always good to do this so that we take a look and go, okay, we got to make sure we zero these out because we're not doing the math. That math is being done here. So that would be empty otherwise. So that's why this is a best solution. So you can see this has gotten fairly complicated. And that's what this class is trying to teach you is how do you take, and you can see in a methodical way, come up with the best solution. Now, if I try to do this just by starting here and then adding age and then doing that, it'd be very difficult for me to come up with a very solution. I have to build and test, build it, test it, try it again, see where stupid questions come up, like age if they're disabled, or military if they're 75. So prime residence if their house value is less than the exemption. So all these reasons allows me to slowly build my best solution. And that's what the flowchart's for, to be able to drag and drop and move things around. Now I'll code this solution and it should come out fairly similar. We may find some efficiencies in coding that would make it a lot better. So this is the end of our flowchart and we're ready to move on to our code.